Welcome to Herby at Heart, where herbalism grows in the roots of our hearts, an intrinsic journey where we dwell on the deep and expand the narrow, starring your favourite herbalists, me, moi, Tash at Avant-Garde and Life, and Philip Phidias at Power Plants Berlin. One plant, one show, featuring interview with someone we believe embodies a part of the spirit.
That is the concept. So, welcome back, everybody. This episode is gonna be about the beautiful Sorbus aucuparia, known as the Rowan tree, also known as mountain ash, belongs to the Rosaceae family, as most of the trees around here do. It's hardy and adaptable. The Rowan tree lives and thrives in various climates and is known for their graceful appearance, feathery leaves, and clusters of bright red-orange berries in autumn. Deeply rooted in folklore, where it was believed to offer protection from evil spirits, often seen as a guardian tree. And we are gonna hear more about that, how it's not just protecting, but it can be used in different ways, in magical ways. And who's gonna tell us about that? It's gonna be Elisabeth Brooke.
Yes, our interview. Yeah.
You
I
seem
was a bit-
surprised. She's like,
Yeah, I was a bit like, where are we going with this? I don't know.
yeah. She's a herbalist, astrologer, author, teacher, counselor. Has a very beautiful and long vita, and we're very, very happy to have her on our show today.
Yes, super excited.
Very excited. So stay tuned for the interview. As always, we're gonna start with a beautiful song. At first, I thought of playing an old school Bavarian folk song, but it was a bit too much.
It was a bit schlagery.
It was a bit very much schlagery.
Yeah, it was cute. There was something cute about it, but we decided against it.
Maybe we want to say der schönste Baum ist der Vogelbeerbaum. You can look it up on YouTube if you like, because it is one of the most beautiful trees around here. But we will listen to the Rowan tree from the original soundtrack of the movie Living. Oh, Rowan tree, oh, Rowan tree. Yeah, so normally we start the show with the section of experience, how we experience the Rowan tree. And I don't know, I have to be honest. I don't know what it did to me and how it made me feel. What I can say is that I freaking love the taste. So we did use a tincture made from the Rowan tree berries that are not poisonous. If you're German and you have heard this before, there's a huge stigma about Rowan tree in German called Vogelbeere also. So bird berry of the birds. And they're saying it's poisonous and you're not allowed to eat it. Well, it is not poisonous. It has this parasorbic acid.
It's toxic. It is slightly toxic.
Yeah, like Britney Spears, basically. It's like you can induce a bit of it, but not too much. Yeah, so you can eat a few berries.
Apologize for him, Brittany.
They're high on in vitamin C and everything, so they are quite beautiful. But you shouldn't eat too much because they have a very bitter taste and they might give you cramps. But if you cook it, you make jam. If you like, just cook it down and create something out of it. It loses like 1/3 of the vitamin C, and this parasorbin acid is getting sorbin acid, which we can digest easily, and so it's not a problem, and it's super tasty. So we did a tincture out of the berries and drank the tincture, and I have to say it was so yummy.
It was yummy.
I do understand why the Bavarians love to make a liquor out of it. They burn it. There's like Vogelbeer Schnaps. And you can do an infusion also and add some sugar. Almost you don't need any sugar, but if you want to really make a liquor, like it's liqueur, like it's very, very beautiful. So a lot of relationship issues, I say, that came up for me in that time. That was like my theme of that time. And a bit of cramping and digestive issues, I would say. Because sometimes I overused it because it is so tasty, and I did it in the morning, and I'm not putting like 20 drops. I'm like taking the whole thing, like, which was maybe not the best way, but for approving, it's always interesting to do a little bit too much. And I did have like stomach cramps and something. And stomach is really not a thing I have problems with often, so that could be related to that. If you read in like traditional use in like traditional books like Madao's book or something like this, there is mentioned the use of this kind of thing for achings, cramps, and normally they would use often the leaves and the flowers, actually, not so much the berries, which was quite interesting. Yeah, that and a lot of relationship issues. Just like the topic was very strongly in that time. So I wonder if it has like a connection to that. I mean, on the research, I didn't really find anything. Like I found like some aspects, as we gonna find out in our interview later, like there's a Mercury aspect to the plan. So I think there's a lot of communication involved in all senses. And communication was a big issue in the last weeks. How was it for you?
Yeah, I wonder, just a note on that, there was something that just came to me of a possibility with the relationship issues, but I think I have lost my train of thought now. So I'm not sure what that was. That's what I want to say. It's, because it's got that protection aspect to it. So, and this kind of solitude protection aspect to it. So it's maybe something to do with that, like a good time to work through those things when you have the protection of Rowan.
That's an interesting.
That was like a thought that just came to me as you, because that is something that came up for me. So I was very careful taking it. I had a viral infect, and now I have an inflamed nerve in my tooth. So my system's been quite low. And so I've been taking stuff for that and keeping pretty much most other things away. So the proving has been a little bit more difficult for me in those terms. I still took it, but I started a lot later, and I think I've been doing it every day for now, 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less. I was very wary to take this herb.
Really?
Yes, I was very, very wary. I had it sitting there, and I really felt like I had to get to know it. Like I needed it in my space for a longer period. And I really had to approach it with caution, I felt. I felt a very deep, very strong power with this herb. And there is a lot of mythology around it and a lot of this around it. But I always try and do the monographs after I've tested it, although I did already know a little bit about some of this stuff, but I tend to forget these things somehow.
It's always like this. It's very interesting. Now a lot of things are coming up, actually.
It's every time I say something that you
wow, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
But it was funny. So it's funny that I was like, I didn't want to take a whole lot of it, also because of my system. But what I felt like it did was it gave me room to explore spaces which I find uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So a theme which I find uncomfortable, and the theme that came up for me, yours is relationship. My theme was doing too much, as I've probably talked about on this show numerous times, and
Probably
not
too much.
Talking too much about it, and not caring for myself. And it gave me, I feel like, the room to really dive into that and really feel fine about it, and to face my demons about that. Like, why is it that I have that with me? And I felt like it really like opened some space where I could be in solitude and look at that, but still feel protected and strong within it. And I also had a dream about Rowan.
Oh, wow.
This was only a few days ago. I mean, I spent the last few days alone, which I really needed. And I dreamt that Rowan came to me and told me that you use it for ancestral healing.
Ooh.
And I found that very interesting in regards to what I was going through with this too much going on, because I had done a family constellation about it, which we did it in our training that we're doing. And I'd done one about this and about my mother's family, how we all do too much. In my personal opinion, maybe all of them will not agree with me, but in my personal opinion, that we're always doing things. We don't really rest. And that was something that I'd done. And then I felt like the Rowan helped me look at that and work with it.
Okay, that's a very powerful and interesting approach. I wonder, I'd like to smudge it now and see what it does to me, because I like working with smudging trees or plants, and it gives me a different approach than taking them in directly. Because I didn't feel very at all. I was like so excited to take it all the time. I'm not sure it was beneficial for me so much, but it was. I was looking forward to taking it. And yeah, I realized like this whole month was for me so much about magic and energetical worlds, and I didn't even make the connection to that. Even I just remember right now, 2 days ago, I was waking up in the middle of the night dreaming of a dragon that gave me like information on how to work with runes, which was like was like a very interesting, exciting thing that happened. And later today, doing some, I was reading about the Rowan tree in Stäubli's Deutsches Handbuch des Aberglaubens, which is like a very interesting book looking on certain things, mythology, and how people used it in different kinds of German-speaking areas. And they did use Rowan to protect against dragons, for example, which was that's I read today, which was quite interesting. I didn't make the connection, and it's such a it is made carving runes into it often. Like the people used it in order to protect their sheep and their cows and everything. Like it has this protective thing on it. At the same time, like a very strong magical ability. So yeah, and this whole month has been completely magic, like energetical healing, these kind of aspects, like really going out of the ordinary. Even I was close to like getting back to ritual magic a little bit, and like it opened up new spaces, which was beautiful. And yeah,
I mean, it's used a lot for that.
Yeah, it is.
Which I found interesting with it. And I found that feeling of caution was not a feeling of caution because I was, I guess, scared of taking it when I've taken like so many different herbs and for large amounts. It was more be wary with me that I have a deep power and you don't play too much with this. You know, there's
That's a good one,
there's some aspects with which you need to be wary of. And maybe that's where also the idea here in Germany comes with that it's highly poisonous and that you're not to touch it and you're not to play with it. You know, it might come from there, from it, possibly.
That's a good point. Like being knowing about the abilities and yeah.
Because a lot of that has been lost. That could just be.
Yeah, I mean, it has very strong mythology background. Like in Celtic mythology, for example, it is connected to the thunder god Thor, or like in not Celtic, but Dona in the Germanic. And the story about Thor is from Northern mythology is that he was in this fight with one of the giants and so on, and he was falling into the river and Vimur, and he was fighting against the current, against the stream, and couldn't get out. And then he could reach one strength of one branch of the Rowan tree, and he was helping him out. And after that, it was like they were connected, this god, and so we have this donor aspect to it, which is quite interesting.
There was also, I read that there's a version where there is a dragon.
Yeah, is there?
Behind the tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, it has some connection with dragons.
It does.
The Rowan tree. I read numerous things about it in connection there.
Yeah, that's cool. And it is connected to lightning also. People either did it to used it on their houses to, like, branches on the houses are distracting lightning. And you shouldn't plant a tree too close to the house because it attracts lightning.
Yeah.
So it's like one has the powerful aspect of inviting Thor, basically, and the other aspect is if you use a branch, like a little bit of it, it's like medicine. If you use it too much, it can be too strong. But if you use a branch of it, it distracts lightning from your house. So yeah.
There was also, I read something with Thor's wife was conceived from a Rowan.
Oh,
or as a Rowan.
As a Rowan. No, I didn't know that one. No.
Yeah, which they do say the Rowan is quite a femininity, this more solitude, feminine type.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories about fertility in the Rowan. There's a lot of using it as an oracle tree, that planting it and look at how many berries are growing this year. It's a sign of the fertility of the women. Also, you can use it as a fertility plant for the woman. So it was traditionally used like that a lot. And now, basically, people don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you know, it's the first monograph that I've done where I had more stuff about mythology and the history usage than I do about present usage.
Yeah.
I did find some interesting scientific research, and they are looking at it a lot more because it does have some really great aspects because of the vitamin E and the vitamin A aspect, and the antioxidants, and going into these areas. So there is a little bit, but there's not even a lot of herbalists use it. No. I really had to dig around, and where I found the most was the UK herbalists, because Scottish, UK, Irish herbalists, and they because it's native there. I mean, it's native here as well, but it's native there, and they've got a very, very deep history with it.
Okay.
So like they've used it for. Yeah, they've got so much. When you look also at the mythology, it's just it's all there. Another thing that I had come up for me, actually, I realized on my bike ride here, was that I felt like I had worked a lot with this plant, and it was this same feeling that I had whenever I go to Ireland, which has been quite a few times. Every time I'm there, I feel like I've been there, but like super strong. I haven't had it in any other place in the world, where it's like I'm there and it's like, oh, I know these forests. Like I've walked these forests before. And I had that same thing when I was working with the Rowan. Like, oh, I know this plant. I've worked a lot with it, but I know that I've worked a little bit with it, but I haven't worked a whole lot. It's like we knew each other.
Not this life, yeah.
No, okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I also there are some ideas about, doors of perception and going through, and then it opens to other worlds, and all this kind of shimmity bang.
Yeah. No, it just has that. It's like wherever you look in any tradition that I found, it has this extremely magical approach to it.
Yeah. In
the new rune alphabet, or the tree alphabet, the Celtic, that was created like past Celts, basically, but it plays an important role, and it was a Celtic important holy tree for them, and used by the Druids. Connected to the rune of Hagalaz, which is like also fertility aspect, protection, magic protection, this kind of thing. So you just find this is the information that you find in it, like the connection of sacred union. Sometimes it's referred to as the tree of life also, which is quite interesting. So it's like there's a very, very powerful story behind it.
Yeah, it even went back. I read some stuff about the Vedics. So it's really... It's like it's always been used. I didn't see if it was one of the Druid herbs, but it wouldn't be surprised, because often these very mugwort's one of them as well. It can be often, I think the 12 is it? And yeah, I don't think it's in there. I didn't have a look at that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Just that it's been used for such a long time.
Yeah, I mean, and outside the use of magic and rituals, and it is just a beautiful tree to plant if you have the chance to plant it. In a forest, for example, it's really good for the soil. It's not needy at all. You can plant it next to a road. Also, it has a very unique and powerful ability that it can do basically kind of a photosynthesis without the green leaves. So even when it's not sprout and like it also can get some energy. So
Oh,
which is very,
didn't
very
know this.
interesting. Yeah. And also it's like a distraction plant for other trees. So because the birds and the deer and boars, they like to eat parts of the plant and this tree, so they won't get to other trees around. So if you want to protect other trees, you just plant a rowan tree next to them.
Yeah, it can grow quite in. It's quite a sturdy herb as well.
It
Like
is,
it's
yeah.
quite. It can grow in quite harsh climates where, like, a lot of wind hits it. There's stories of it growing. It'll grow out of other trees, out of rocks, and it will be quite. It's got this preservance.
Yeah,
I can't think
know
of the
what you
word
mean.
now.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's the only tree that grows with the conifers up high, higher than 2,000 meters. Like the only tree that's not a conifer that is growing up so high.
In like high altitude.
High altitudes, yeah, which is also quite interesting. So
Yeah.
it has all the connections. It can basically be wherever it's needed, which is quite beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I found it very interesting doing the research on it.
And one practical tip for being outside, which I like a lot, is like if you ever need to rest in a forest or something, always look for a rowan tree, because it's said whoever is close to it is completely protected from negative aspects. So no gnomes or kobolds or whatever, like fairies can reach you out there when you're next to a rowan tree. So it's always a good idea to be around that tree.
Yeah, people have carried it and everything.
Yeah.
So it's used also quite a bit. It's used a bit on
Yeah.
in drinks.
Oh yeah.
Like I found a lot of stuff, and not just in one culture, like in a lot of cultures, they use it, and it seems different cultures make different things, all the way from like ales to liquors to meads to wines to other probably weird things that I can't think of. But it seems like a lot of different, they're all making their own type of drink with it.
Okay.
Even in Germany, they do. They do
They do, yeah. It makes sense because it's delicious.
Yeah, it gives it a really good flavor,
Yeah.
and then they would use these drinks also for medicine.
Okay.
That's what they would use. They would use it like, I guess, with the vitamin C content. And it's still, everyone's still out about the toxicity of the seeds. So there is a lot of stuff. You'll find a lot of stuff on that about online. That you need to take the seeds out. Some people say you don't. The cooking, most people say that you have to cook the berries.
I looked it up, and there was a study that I found, and they're naming specifically the amount of berries that you need to eat for a lethal doses, and that's 90 kilograms.
Okay, that's a lot.
So I think everybody will be fine just eating a few of the berries. If you want to be on the safe side, just cook them.
I mean, I would recommend not to eat them raw.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, to be honest.
Huh?
I would do it.
Yeah, I mean, you would do it. I wouldn't recommend our listeners to be eating it raw because, that's, but yeah, Philly will do it and then he'll write about it. It does have cyanide, glycosides in it. So eating it raw, it can be a bit heavy. It's more the heaviness that is on the kidneys and stuff. You're not going to be able to eat enough to.
It's true.
But you don't want it to like damage your kidneys or something. So just keep that in mind.
Eating a few berries won't kill you. That's all I'm going to say.
Won't kill Philly.
Yeah. One of the most interesting things that I found is the way, and that's also a way that we can use it in modern herbal medicine, is on macular degeneration and eye diseases in general. There's a lot of contents that support it. There's a pro vitamin A in it that supports it, of course, and the school medicine, they use it in an excerpt of this tree, of the berries, when you have like a, what do you call it, glaucoma.
Glaucoma.
Yeah. So there is actually it is used in our modern medicine also, which is quite interesting. And we can use the berries. Even in apothecary, in pharmacies, you can find it as you can find the berries there, dried berries. It's called, you would look for Sorbi aucuparia fructus, and like this way you can
Which is
order it
the
in.
Latin name.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is an official herb, which is quite interesting. Yeah.
So it's not a herb that you're not allowed to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other stuff are we using it for? What have I? To be honest, I haven't used it a whole lot. I've ingested it myself, and I've actually made food mainly with it. I've made jellies and jams, and that's what traditionally a lot of people make.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, I've always had a tincture sitting there. I haven't really used a whole lot. I might use it every so often for like colds and coughs and flus, like as the vitamins, this really high like the antioxidants here, the immune
It is said also
antimicrobial kind of.
for like singers, if they have a sore throat.
Yes.
Find like if you're having a sore throat from singing or something like this, you can use the raw berries actually.
Yeah, you can gargle it. It's a
Yeah.
good gargle. It's got
Gargle or like chewing on the raw berries, and like it's a mix of mucoses and like the contents that are inside
You're
there.
just
That
trying to
happen
kill
like
everyone, aren't you?
a-
Eat the berries, swallow them. Keep them going back
You don't have to swallow. You can spit.
to spit or swallow.
Yes. So maybe it's time to play a song, huh?
Yeah.
And like get into an interview. It is. I would use it magically, I would say. I mean, it's a very beautiful tree, and I would use the tree. I would try smudging it. If you don't want to ingest it, always go for smudging. That's always a safe way to understand the energetical information that a plant is bringing, and you can get easily in contact with that if you mind talking to plants outside.
I think I would use it where just in the state that I was in, how I was using it is when you're got illness through maybe quite more deeper, heavy emotional traumas or like emotions.
Okay.
To treat like something like the cough or diarrhea or just because of the astringent aspects in it, to use it there.
Yeah, and maybe the protectiveness that
And the
you said at the
protectiveness.
beginning, right? To have something that helps you to go through a deep emotion where you feel vulnerable, and it's going to be there and protect you and like build a kind of a shield around you to be brave, also to look into these things. Yeah,
and help you to look at the stuff when you're in the solitude. I think it's a really nice herb for that.
Yeah, nice. So that was a very interesting experience, and I'm curious what we're gonna learn more from our interviewee today. But before we do that, we're gonna play another song.
Yes, our next song. I have no idea what is our next one.
We can choose. I found a few ones that are quite nice. One is like a more classical, and the other one is more like Eastern traditional, I would say.
I'm up for both. What are you up for, audience? Pity you can't ring in.
Yeah, man. That didn't work. Okay, we go for the classic one. It's called Die Eberesche by N.J. Schneider and Jürgen Geiger.
So now we're excited to jump into our interview. We know it's everyone's favorite time, not having to listen to us, listen to someone else. And as you all know, we always do our little connection between the plant and the interviewee. So here we go. The Rowan tree stands on the edge of wild paths and quiet thresholds, its beautiful berries bright against grey skies, a beacon of protection and ancient wisdom. In folklore, it is the witch's tree, the wise woman's ally, a guardian against ill fate and a guide between the worlds. Elisabeth Brooke walks such thresholds. A herbalist, astrologer, and counsellor, her life's work has echoed the Rowan's medicine, protective, visionary, and deeply rooted in the old ways. Like the Rowan, she thrives at the meeting point of worlds, science and spirit, plant and planet, psyche and story. Her hands have touched the leaves of countless herbs, Rowan has watched over her path, a tree of seers, healers, and those who remember. In her teaching and practice, Elisabeth offers the kind of healing the Rowan gives, fierce and gentle, magical and grounded. The red-orange berries are like the bloodliness of woman's wisdom, running through her work with herbal medicine, mythology, and the deep intuitive traditions of the feminine. To sit beneath a Rowan is to listen to whispers older than books. To work with Elisabeth is much the same.
Elisabeth Brooke is a qualified medical herbalist with the National Institute of Medical Herbalists, the NIMH, and a winner of the Pharmacology Prize. She ran a London-based practice, trained students through the NIMH and the School of Herbal Medicine. She's a pioneer in herbal education. She taught the first adult education class in herbal medicine in London and continued teaching herbal medicine in the women's health until 1989. From 89 to 99, she worked in Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic, researching and practicing traditional medicine. She has taught herbal workshops internationally and more recently led sessions on magical herbalism and astrology at the Radical Herb gatherings. She's a guest tutor at Harvard School of Herbal Medicine and has lectured at the University of Westminster. She's also a trained psychosynthesis counselor, and she runs a private counseling practice in London, specializing in creative professionals, including students and tutors from the RADA. An experienced astrologer, she studied and taught with the Company of Astrologers, contributing to the publication and tutoring in medical astrology, and she holds an BA and Master in Classical Studies with a focus on the Gorgon, Medusa, and she's the author of numerous publications that we have not mentioned, but there's really a lot of amazing books. And what an impressive vita. Oh my God.
Yep. I know, we're so excited.
We are very excited. I am in awe, and with that, we're going to present you Elisabeth Brooke.
So welcome, Elisabeth. We're really excited to have you on the show. We're just going to jump right in, as we always do, with our first question. So your work beautifully weaves myth and herbal wisdom. Do you draw, or how do you draw on folklore and mythology in your understanding of plants? And do you know any stories, symbols, meanings connected to Rowan that speak to you?
Yeah, how do I use? Well, my background is I'm obviously English, but I'm very interested in Greek mythology, and so that's where I look first. That's my favorite area. But also, obviously, I look at Celtic stuff, and it should reflect the nature of the plant, and I think it does. And I wrote a Substack, which you could put a link on if you like later, about Rowan being used to curse someone, which I think explains very much its nature, because it was the poet called Kathleen Rayner, and she was having a relationship with Gavin Maxwell, and it was very tempestuous and stormy. And in the middle, and he was living up in the wilds of Scotland, and he had a rowan tree outside his house or hut, and they had a big argument, and he threw her out of the house in the middle of the night, in the middle of a storm. It's all very atmospheric, and she cursed him. She held the rowan tree and she cursed him. She said, "Let Gavin suffer in this place as I am suffering now." And they're both poets and people with big imaginations. And of course, when you do magic, the amount you're connected to the other person, and the energy and the passion and the love and the hate, which are the same thing, really, that makes your magic much stronger. And he believed that she ruined his life. He had a really bad car crash. People died. His career went off the rails. She felt that she'd done it too. And she was very scared about what she's done. But what you've done, you can't undo those kind of curses. So that to me is a very contemporary understanding of Rowan, because I think it's a very powerful, magical plant that you don't mess with.
No.
That's what,
No, that's a scary one, actually.
Also, the setting was very Rowan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how it was all set. Very, yeah. Wow, what a great story.
What?
Thunder and lightning and a nighttime, passion, anger, hatred, all very Rowan, I think.
Yeah.
What would you do if somebody would curse you like that?
I think you send it back to them.
Yeah.
You return it, you send it back to them. But
Okay.
you have to disengage psychically from them, because the reason it worked with the two of them, because their hearts were connected and their solar plexus. So they were really strongly connected because of that passion and love and hate. But if someone did that to me, if I didn't care about them, it wouldn't work. They don't work.
Yeah.
If it was someone that I was having some sort of power struggle with, I'd have to let go of my relationship with them. I'd have to cut all the ties I had with them. Then you have to bless them, which is really unpleasant for someone you don't like. That's the only way to release them. You bless them, you bless them, you bless them. And then you send that energy back to them.
Yeah.
So you don't get into throwing stuff backwards and forwards, because that's troublesome. Good to know, though. Good to know. Sometimes
Exactly. Yeah.
there's an American witch called Susanna Budapest who says that a witch that cannot hex cannot heal. Now, I've never hexed anyone, but it's good to know that you might want to one day. Who knows where the world is going? You might do.
Yeah.
I know that in the 70s, a lot of American witches in San Francisco hexed rapists.
Yeah.
And they got caught. Yeah. It's like,
Okay. And at the same time, it's a good lesson to learn not to hex too careless, right?
No, and also it binds you to them for the rest of your life and possibly other lives. You are bound together, and you want to think very carefully about who you want to be bound to.
It's a big karmical act that you're doing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with love spells, actually. If you do those, same thing. Tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very, very beautiful introduction story with Rowan. So thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. I have another question. Since you know a lot and you work a lot with astrology, planetary aspects on plants, and you wrote books about that. And I think the ongoing course at the moment also involves astrology in herbalism. So where do you see Rowan in a planetary aspect? And maybe you want to elaborate a little bit how you would work in treating a patient or like people regarding those aspects.
I thought about this, and I think it's Mercury. And the reason I think it's Mercury is because Mercury is the planet, and before Mercury was Iris, of course, the matriarchal point of view. But both of those are psychopomps, and what that means is they can travel from the heavens to the human world to the underworld easily, and they carry messages. And I feel that through its folklore, Rowan is very much connected with death and cemeteries and the underworld and those kind of forces. So that to me is very Mercury in the terms of astrology, but it's got quite a bit of fire in it, hasn't it? I think like fiery. So it might be Mercury, in Aries or something. It might be that kind of Mercury rather than Mercury.
Yeah. So I find it quite fiery. I find it very drying and fiery for my system.
Yeah, and that's what it's used for medicinally, isn't it?
Yeah.
I felt very much that it's about passageways and transitions and moving on, like liminal spaces and going beyond where you're at. So lots about not necessarily going down, but you have to get through lots of, because it's very spiky, isn't it? And very thorny and fiery, and all those images of swords and conflict, really. But if you get behind that, it's very soothing and goddessy. I find it's like there's a kind of a mother, or maybe Bridget, it's that kind of mother energy. Is there?
It has
it's very well defended.
Sorry, like a very double-edged sword.
Yes.
I feel with Rowan.
Yes,
quite
that's
strongly.
also Mercurian, because Mercury takes the energy of whatever it's next to. So it's very fluid if you think about actual Mercury. So if it's next to the sun, it becomes fiery. And if it's next to the moon, it becomes lunar and cool. So the fact that Rowan's got two different natures seems to fit Mercury. Yeah.
That's
And it's used for protection because it's very spiky. That's another way of explaining why it's used for protection.
Are you using Rowan in your work? Like whether in the nature or ritual or yeah.
I don't use it in my clinic, but I've used it magically, yes, for things, carving runes or wands, that kind of thing. Or if you're feeling like you're needing protection or strength. Yeah. And actually, it's not quite a dreaming herb, but it is very powerful when you go behind the rough bits on the outside. There is a very powerful motherly female energy there, but not in my practice. I mean, I don't know. Maybe in Germany you use it a lot more. Perhaps you do.
No, they believe here that it's poisonous. So you're told that it's very highly poisonous and you're not allowed to take it.
Yeah.
You have to cook it.
Yeah, but it's like a thing here. Like all children, when I do foraging things, then the people are like, oh, no, you're not allowed to eat that plant. I got told even as a child. It's like a full-on known fact in Germany that you're not to ingest it ever.
A bit of lack of education when it comes to foraging in Germany. Yes. Yeah.
Because they use it in drinks, don't they? They use it, they brew it in Scotland and in Ireland. But I think it needs to be cooked. It's one of those ones that needs to be cooked to get rid of the stuff around the seeds.
Exactly.
But it does look a bit alarming. If you didn't know, you'd think that was a dangerous plant, I think.
Yeah, there is like
hangs and everything.
It's true, yeah. There's old traditional use in Germany, especially to fertility. As an oracle, when you find rowan trees with a lot of berries in certain regions, especially in the south of Germany, they believed that there was a lot of children coming this year or something like this, or you would give it as a fertility plant also, apart from the magical use that has been used here. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a nice. So it fits the female fertile energy that you have been mentioning, right? So yeah.
And also it's so abundant, because if you think of the difference between Rowan and hawthorn, the difference of the quantity of the berries and just the way they hang. Hawthorn is even it comes in bunches. It doesn't come in these huge bunches.
Yeah.
So I get the fertility. I like that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and there's actually a use on macular degeneration a lot. Like they use that even in hospitals. Like they use excerpts of. Yeah.
That's the high vitamin C content.
It is, and provitamin R and all this. Yeah.
That's for the macula.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're all learning something today.
It's not forgotten, unfortunately. This beautiful tree. Yeah. Because we have been talking about your work with astrology and the planetary aspect now, and maybe it would be nice if you could tell us a little bit about how you weave that into your practice. For example, if you're having new patients or something, do you use the horoscope in regarding the diseases that they have? Are you putting planetary alignments with plants and the horoscope together, or looking for diseases in that way? I would be curious to hear about that. Yeah.
There are two ways you can use it. The first way is you can use your birth chart, the chart for when you were born. And I use that to look at temperament, and that's like preventative medicine. So you're one of the 4 temperaments, choleric, melancholic, sanguine, and you use remedies to bolster immunity or health or vital forces, we call it. So, but that's the only way I use the horoscope. If I've got someone coming consulting me as a herbalist, I will put up a chart for the time they come. And that's a branch of astrology called horary astrology or decumbiture. And what I do from that chart of the, like we met today at 4 p.m. and I would put a chart up for 4 p.m. and you would look at the chart and from that you diagnose, because what you're diagnosing is a temporary condition. Your natal chart, your horoscope shows tendencies you were born with and how you came into the world. But the decumbiture shows a temporary condition, and they're very, very different, and they need to be separate, because you cannot look at a horoscope and tell someone very much about their physical condition. You can talk about their temperament and how strong they're likely to be, but if they've got an illness, that is not the place you look. You look at the decumbiture, which is actually a moment in time, and it describes their illness. And what it does is it describes their illness, it describes their vitality, it looks at how I, as the practitioner, behave or what they're looking for. And it also gives you indications of what kind of remedies they need, because the herbs that I use are local to the UK or Europe, and then most of them are ruled by an astrological planet and the signs sometimes. And so you can diagnose and prescribe from the decumbiture, but that's completely different from looking at the birth chart. And I have to reinforce that, because otherwise you get into deterministic ways of looking at things. Because my personal birth chart, if you looked at it through the traditional lenses, you would say, oh, that's someone who's got chronic ill health. Don't have chronic ill health. I've spent my working life working with people who are ill. So it's a different thing. I mean, it's all about health and work, but it's a very different thing. Whereas if I was young and someone said, oh yes, you're going to have chronic ill health, well, that is a bit like a curse, isn't it? It's like the Aboriginal, well, it's like pointing the bone, isn't it? Saying, oh, it's going to get worse. So don't do that. But the decumbiture, I've been using that for 40 years.
That's very interesting. Wow. Okay.
And so do you do it for each then session, or with okay, so then you'll pull it up every time and then you see, it's almost like looking at the difference between the constitution and like an acute moment in time that they're seeing you. Exactly. Makes much more sense to do it that way. Also.
Yes. And also because you look at the decumbiture and you can look at the moon, because the moon goes around the chart once every 28 days. So you can look at timing. You can look at if you're doing hands-on treatment, when you do treatments, when you'd expect a crisis. There's all sorts of refined ways of using the decumbiture chart. It's very interesting, I find.
Wow.
So it's not deterministic. And also because you're dealing with astrology, you deal with the body, you deal with the emotions, you deal with the mind, you deal with the spirit or the spiritual life, and you can relate all of those from the decumbiture. So you're talking to the whole person. That to me is really important.
Oh, that's very interesting. And can you use the natal chart, for example, to look at what kind of chronic disease or where the weak points of a person in the future? Is that something that gives you information about that, or is it really is it something you don't really find there? I'm not an astrologer, so I really have to ask like the basic questions.
No, I can think it will show tendencies and possibilities. Like, for example, you might in a natal chart have something on your ascendant. Your ascendant is the moment you came into the world. So it's your moment of incarnating. You may have a planet on there, and it may relate to how you're born. It may relate to challenges with your physical health, but it also may relate to other things, emotional traumas, or you can't say. You can just ask questions and say, well, was your birth difficult? Or how was your family life? Those sorts of things. But in terms of looking at chronic diseases, I don't think it's that helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
What you do is, if someone comes, they ask the question, because they're coming to you as a client, and the question is, what's wrong with me? What can you do? Yeah. That's the question. So you can put a chart and make a question and then look at the answer.
Yeah, it makes sense. I work a lot with homeopathy, for example, and like we're always looking for acute symptoms, like something that the body is expressing to get to an answer of healing. So it makes sense to look at those and not get stuck in a past idea or like idealistic or whatever. Yeah,
or a conceptual idea,
Conceptual
because
idea,
it's quite conceptual in a way. It's your opinion of what you're viewing, but looking at the birth chart. Like you said, I think your example was very good about your birth chart with that someone could have looked at it and said chronic health, but it's actually been that you're working with the people who have that. They're treating those people. And I think that's such a great way of explaining that.
Yeah. Because also, so for example, we were talking about Mercury. You might have Mercury showing up, and that could be problems with your lungs, problems with your gut. It could be problems with your nervous system, stuff caused by anxiety. It could be OCD, which is another Mercury thing, etc. So it works on all sorts of levels, and that's, to me, that's how astrology works. You have to find the level that the person is operating at.
Yeah.
Could you give us just, when you look at the chart, like maybe a really simple example, if you have one, of when you see something in the decimate, what's it called? Decimature chart. Like, how would you then choose the herb?
Oh, because there's rules. You choose one for the rule of the ascendant, one for the rule of the sixth, one for the rule of the 10th, something that relates to the moon. It's really easy, but you are limited. You can have about 4 or 5 herbs, which I love.
Okay.
That's how I do practice. I was taught, when I was trained, we were taught to use polypharmacy, and I find that very unsatisfactory because you don't know what's working, do you?
Yeah.
Whereas if you're restricted to 4 or 5, you know, when you take one out and you put one in, you know what's happening. So I like that discipline, and just follow it carefully, follow it. Because there's an example in one of my books. I've got this one here, that one. Can you see it?
Great book, everyone.
Yes.
I've read it.
And someone came with an acute illness, and I prescribed from the decumbiture chart, and she said herself, it's reported in there, the herbs that you chose were not ones I would have thought of, but it worked like that, just like that. So you've got to really trust it and not second guess what you're doing. It's like you've got to be faithful to the process, I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is traditionally how they did medicine, or doctors. They used it.
They did.
Did they use? Did they use like the natal chart, or did they use this system that you're using?
They use the system I'm using because clocks were hard to come by, and most people didn't know what time they were born unless they were royalty. So people didn't know.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
So no, they used my system, and that would be in London, William Lilly, and also Nicholas Culpeper, the two of them, and you can read their books online.
Yeah.
And they case histories and stuff. But yeah, that's what they would have done. And then what happened was towards the end of the 17th century, you've got chemical medicine coming in, and then you got the so-called Enlightenment, where it all became hyper rational, and they put other stuff aside, and particularly astrology. And they went into more mechanistic and heroic kind of medicine. And that's an ideological choice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's exciting. So you teach, we have been talking about your books, and you just mentioned one, and you write about women's medicine traditions. We talked about magical use in herbalism in your approach, astrology, and is there like a theme or a core lesson that shaped your approach of healing?
Sure. When someone comes to me, I look at their physical, their emotional, their mental, and their spiritual well-being, and that's what I work from. And because they all affect the physical body, and when people come to me and I write up my notes for them, I suggest things that they can do on all those levels. Yeah. So that's a holistic thing.
Yeah. So it's always working, serving the system of your clients, basically.
Yeah. And also giving them practical things that they can do. You don't want your clients to be endlessly on medicine. You want them to have good lives. So I suggest things, social things or emotional things or mental things they could be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
And that's how you stay healthy, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at all those aspects, because one can really trigger another, can't it? And if we just treat one aspect of it and we're not looking at that other part, then we're missing a whole section of the human.
Yeah.
And particularly with emotions and thoughts, they really affect your physical body.
Yeah, I know all about that.
Einstein quote that you cannot solve a problem at the level at which it's created. You have to go up one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So regarding that topic, is there like a thought or a ritual or something that you want to share with the audience, maybe that they can take away as a little present, a little gift from you?
I think talk to your plants. Talk to them. That's what I do. This is a lot of my first book. A lot of that was we sat in groups for years just working psychically with plants, and then I discovered this whole world, and anyone can do that. And actually most people, if you talk to them in a certain way, they know what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember once I was doing this workshop and we had an older woman in it, and she had no psychic magical experience at all. But we were talking about hawthorn and the heart. And I think she'd had heart problems. And she obviously went home and told her husband about it, and he bought her a hawthorn bush.
Wow.
Oh.
So it's like he got it. You don't have to make it explicit, but he got it. And so I would say that if they're speaking to you, grow them if you can, or go talk to them.
Yes.
Oh, that's a beautiful piece of advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
lovely?
Get in contact with the plants. So we like to ask, we're sort of at the end. I can see our time is running.
Yeah, so we always have a song thing happening.
Did you want to, but you chose your song, you sent it already to me. Did you want to introduce us? And you can even tell us maybe why you've chosen it, if you like.
I chose this song because it encapsulates what I feel. Just don't tell me what to do, because I'm an Aries. I do not like being told what to do. I do what I want when I want it, So, and that rubs people up the wrong way quite a lot. Not so much now, but when I was younger. You're forgiven a lot when you're older. You Don't Own Me, it's called. I've forgotten who it's by.
Leslie Core.
Leslie Core.
Right.
Yeah. Leslie Core, yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, so I think it's like an icon for people who want to be their own selves.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, with those words, we're closing today's interview. So thank you, Elisabeth, for being with us and sharing your wisdom and all the knowledge. And it's very much appreciated.
Yeah,
and
thank you for taking time.
Keep on writing your books, please, and your great work and everything. The world needs it more than ever, I think.
Elisabeth's holding some beautiful online courses for everyone out there. We'll put them in the show notes. So can they still join the present one?
Well, they could, yeah, they could.
Well, they
could get the recordings. I'm going to put it online over Christmas, over the holidays.
Okay, so we'll put that in the show notes for everyone, and we'll link the website. Okay, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was You Don't Owe Me by Leslie Gore. What a beautiful thing. And we're going to tell you now what to do with our beautiful section. Recipe time.
Recipe time. So we have this recipe. It's from a book from two great herbalists, actually, from the UK.
Okay.
Julia Brutton Seal and Matthew Seal. You can go out and grab all their books. They're really good. They do a lot of stuff with local herbs and plants. So check them out. So this is just a Rowan jelly, actually. So it's like making a jam. You just basically put the Rowan, same parts Rowan to same parts cooking apples. They like to use crab apples. And you put them in a pan and you cover them with water and you cook them for 20 minutes, half an hour until they go kind of pulpy. And then you take them out and you put them in a jelly sieve thing. It's like a jelly cloth. And then you leave it overnight so all the liquid can come out, and then you get rid of the substance part and just use the water, the liquidy, juicy part. And then you mix it with sugar. So it's 40 grams of sugar to half a litre of the liquid. And then you heat that up until it's dissolved, and then you cook it for another 10 minutes, maybe longer, and this is a trick of any jam maker, all jam makers out here will know this, also jelly makers, is you get a plate, you put it in the freezer or fridge, and then you get the liquid and you throw it on the plate, and it hardens quite quickly, and then you know the consistency it's going to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've known it for years from doing jam making with my grandma. And you could also put the plate in the fridge if you really want to know, and then you'll see that it hardens. But it's a way to test it. And until it's like a jelly consistency, basically, then you jar it in sterilized jars. And they used this, I actually found it in quite a few spaces. They use this for whooping cough traditionally. Like they would feed it to the kids, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you from the book. The book's called Wayside Medicine, Forgotten Plants and How to Use Them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for this amazing recipe. And once you have done that, audience, send us your work. We would be curious to try.
Send us some so we can have it with game at Christmas.
Yeah, I would love to have
That's
some
what
of that.
That's what you also eat it with game, because it helps you digest
What's game?
Like vid.
Ah, okay.
Because it helps you
digest. Okay.
It helps you digest like the stuff that they traditionally also ate it with.
Ah, yeah. It's same with mugwort, huh?
Yeah, you could do a mugwort. You could throw a bit of mugwort in there.
Could be
a bit weird.
Yeah,
could be a bit weird. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Anything else going on in your life, in your professional life?
In my professional life, yeah. We're doing a counselling session now. Yeah, I mean, the herbal course is running. It's going great. Got a great group. You can already...
Still places open? Can you join, or is it closed now?
Yeah, you could. We've already done... You could until next week. I think there's only one spot.
Okay.
But, yeah, write to me. But, yeah, not really. Oh, no, yeah. Not really.
Not really. If you're really eager on learning on herbalism,
super eager, but
could convince Tash.
You'd have to convince me, because it is pretty, it's pretty full.
So write a full-on application video.
Yeah,
you being out in the wilds naked.
Yeah, I want your CV, I want it all.
On full moon and everything, the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah. Besides that, just the praxis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Praxis at Mommsenstraße in Charlottenburg.
Where we both are.
Yeah, where we both are. Hit us up there. I am going to make a course on archetypes and homeopathy with my colleague and teacher, Andreas Kruger, who is also the leader and principal of Samuel Hahnemann Schule, where we both studied and where we met each other, actually. And it's going to be sold on Matthias Berner Academy. So I'm looking forward for that and provide you with all the information. That's going to be beautiful and big. And so if you want to learn about homeopathy, if you want to know about archetypes and how you can use that in your personal development and work, I invite you to have a look there. As always, join us if you want to study herbalism or homeopathy. There's always the possibility to go contact Samuel Hahnemann Schule, where I'm teaching. And follow us on Instagram if you don't do already.
Oh, I do have one more thing. Actually, on the 30th of... No, that would be the next one. No, I won't say that.
Okay, you won't say that.
Okay. I could tell you now. On the 30th of the first Advent of November, we're doing in our studio like a witches sort of market. Ooh. So we've got lots of stuff going on there, and Nourished Collective. It's an event, and you can come and get lots of Christmas presents,
That sounds amazing.
witchy Christmas presents.
Witchy Christmas presents. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay,
Yeah,
let's go there. And that's it
let's go
for.
there. I will be there, but yeah,
I'm gonna.
I
go.
hope you come.
I would come. Yeah,
Yeah, have
if
some
I'm
some
around. I'm gonna come.
glühwein, some
Yeah.
chai,
Yeah, well, I would like that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
buy some
buy some
products.
stuff.
Maybe sell some stuff also.
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah,
that's all.
that's all, huh?
Yeah,
It was a very nice, interesting episode. Like
Yeah.
very, very informative. I learned a lot of had great insights, I have to say. So
yeah.
I
Me
hope you
too.
enjoyed it too. Thank you, Elisabeth, again. Thank you, audience, for supporting us. It's always very, very nice. New information on future projects will come up. How you can support us also, if you like the work that we're doing. Everything next episode.
Yeah.
So for now,
Herby at heart.
Herby by nature.